Unearthed Secrets, the terrifying night rules of a hidden Missouri amusement park revealed. In the heart of Missouri lies an amusement park known only to a few, a place where laughter mixes with unsettling whispers. The locals shivered at the thought of nightfall, when strange happenings spiraled out of control. They said it was a playground for the lost, where the rides weren't just thrilling, but eerie, brimming with secrets that defied explanation. Flickering lights illuminated the Ferris wheel, casting elongated shadows over the dilapidated structures. The air turned thick with anticipation in those haunting hours, as if the darkness itself hid monstrous secrets eager to be unleashed. What drew the brave, the foolish, the curious souls, was a rumor: those who dared to stay after midnight would experience something beyond their wildest nightmares. As midnight struck, the park would come alive, vibrating with a mysterious energy, as if the ghosts of past visitors had returned to reclaim their rides. Whispers echoed through the rusting metal of the coaster track, sharing tales of children who vanished without a trace, laughing one moment, then silenced the next. The merry-go-round spun quietly, its painted horses frozen in haunting poses, their glassy eyes reflecting secrets they'd rather forget, but the most chilling of all was the ominous sign hung at the entrance that only the bravest dared to read: "Enter at your own risk, and remember, the rules change after dark." What did that mean? Perhaps it was a warning, or a challenge. Even hardened adventurers felt their hearts race at the thought. They could sense the danger, a prickling at the back of their necks as they exchanged shaky glances. Little did they know, stepping through those gates would lead them down a twisted path that would test the limits of their sanity. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The night grew darker, shadows shimmered like tendrils searching for warmth. It was said that if you strayed too far from the beaten path, you'd start seeing things, figures drifting in peripheral vision, and laughter that clawed at your ears from just beyond view. A group of thrill-seekers huddled together, pulses racing, as a cold wind whispered through the skeletal remains of the funhouse, beckoning them forward. They were drawn, not just by the thrill, but by a strange allure, a compulsion they couldn't shake. The park's secrets hung heavy in the air, thick enough to choke on. They moved deeper into the unknown, hearts pounding, nerves on edge. As the last vestiges of daylight vanished, and the spinning lights of the rides illuminated the path ahead, they realized they might have awakened something best left undisturbed. Would they uncover the truth, or become part of the park's ever-growing list of missing souls? The silence wrapped around them, thick and heavy, the kind that pressed on their chests. A sudden whoosh of wind sent leaves spiraling through the air, breaking the oppressive staleness. The group of friends Megan, Alex, Tyler, and Jasmine stood shoulder to shoulder, their breaths quickening. The park loomed ahead, a living nightmare of rust and shadows. Alex, the self-proclaimed leader, took a hesitant step forward, and with it, the decrepit gate creaked open as if welcoming them. "Are we really doing this?" Jasmine's voice trembled, her wide eyes darting to the swirling darkness beyond. She felt a chill rub against her skin, not just from the night air but from fear tightening its grip on her heart. "Come on, it's South just an amusement park," Tyler said, squaring his shoulders. There was a hint of bravado, but they all could hear the tremor beneath. He stepped forward, clutching a flashlight that flickered ominously. They began their exploration, hesitantly crossing the boundary into the park. The moment they cleared the gate, the atmosphere felt different. Shadows stretched deeper and darkened corners loomed larger, as if the darkness itself conspired against them. The group moved toward the merry-go-round, with its chipped, once vibrant horses caught in stillness. The light surrounding it pulsed faintly in the dead air, casting eerie shapes on the ground. Megan shivered. "What do you think happened to the kids?" she whispered, her mind racing through urban legends she'd heard since childhood. They probably just got lost, Tyler shrugged, but he couldn't shake the nagging weight of unease settling over his shoulders. As they looped around the old carousel, the atmosphere shifted again. The faint laughter from the past seemed to echo off the dilapidated wood. A low, unsettling sound began to creep into the air, a humming that resonated in their bones. "Megan, turn off that light," Alex instructed, his voice suddenly grave. She looked at him, brow furrowed. "Just do it." In the sudden darkness, the hum deepened, thrumming against their eardrums. Jasmine gasped, clutching Tyler's arm. They stood in a tight circle, panic rising as the darkness seemed to envelop them. "What is that?" Tyler's voice quivered, and in that moment, they all felt it, a presence lurking just out of sight. Shadows grew bolder, swirling, dancing with an intent that made their blood freeze. "Turn it back on," Jasmine begged, inching away from the dark edges where the light failed to reach. Reluctantly, Megan switched the flashlight back on, flooding the area with blinding white light. The shadows retreated, and they gasped collectively as something moved just outside their vision. A figure lingered in the darkness, a silhouette pressing against the faded backdrop of the funhouse. Their hearts pounded as they squinted, trying to catch a glimpse. But before they could react, the lights flickered violently, plunging them again into near darkness. Then, a whisper, a chilling, wispy sound that floated around them. "Play with us." Their eyes widened, and fear clawed its way into their throats. This wasn't just another thrill. This was an invitation to the unknown, one that promised danger and perhaps, their very souls. "Should we leave?" Jasmine trembled, glancing back at the entrance, now shrouded in menace. "I don't think we can," Alex said, his voice barely above a whisper. I think it wants us to stay." Panic surged as they felt the ground tremble beneath their feet, and with it, the night intensified. The park, awakened and hungry, tightened around them like a vice. In the distance, the Ferris wheel began to turn slowly, creaking ominously, drawing them in. What had they awakened? Shadows loomed larger as Megan cried out, "What do we do now?" But the answer faded, lost in the sinister laughter that rustled the trees, inviting them further into the darkness. The moment had come. Would they unravel an ancient mystery, or would they become its next victims? The moment hung like a fragile thread. They stood in a tight huddle, hearts racing, as the laughter echoed like a distant ghost. The Ferris wheel creaked again, its once cheerful charm now a menacing invitation. Megan felt sick to her stomach. "Is this even safe?" she whispered, her voice barely audible over the wind that howled through the rusting metal frames of the rides. The sight before them was surreal, a twisted fusion of childhood memories and nightmares. "Safe?" Tyler scoffed, a forced bravado in his tone. "This is just a bunch of old rides. Remember those stories? We can just leave." But doubt wormed its way through him as he spoke. "Leave?" Alex shook his head. "If we go now, we'll never know. We can't let fear dictate us." "Fear? It's not just fear, Alex. There's something wrong here." Jasmine's voice shook, eyes darting into the shadows that loomed just beyond the reach of their fading light. As if answering Jasmine's plea, the darkness stirred. Shadows slithered across the ground, bending and intertwining, as if alive. Tyler swallowed hard. I think we need to leave. Now." But before anyone could move, the ground trembled once more. A low growl emitted from the old funhouse, reverberating through the earth, striking a primal fear deep within them. "What was that?" Megan gasped. "I don't know, but I can feel it," Alex said, his bravado faltering as his eyes widened in disbelief. Then it happened. The cacophony of laughter grew louder, more urgent. An insistent chanting began to swell, wrapping them like a tight cocoon. Play with us." The flashlight flickered violently again once, twice, and then it gave out, plunging them into an absolute abyss of shadows. Panic twisted around them like vines, squeezing the breath from their lungs. Megan's heart raced. Someone turn it back on. I'm trying. Tyler's hands shook. It one switch. In the suffocating darkness, fear twisted into desperation. They could hear each other breathing, fast and frantic, matched only by the relentless whispering that migrated from one shadow to another. Suddenly, a jolt surged through Alex. Remember the stories about the park? The kids who went missing? His voice rose, laden with dread. What if they're still here? What if they became part of it? A loud thud rang out, shattering the heavy silence. They instinctively turned, searching for the source in the inky black. And then they saw it, a shadow shifting, weaving toward them, barely human. A silhouette emerged from the dark, its shape oddly familiar yet grotesque. It stepped into a sliver of moonlight, revealing hollow eyes that seemed to absorb the light around it. Phil, the boy from school who disappeared years ago, stood before them, a twisted smile etched across his features. "Come play with us," he whispered, the voice a haunting echo of days gone by. Megan gasped, shaking her head, forcing her back against the carousel. "No, no." The figure lunged closer, laughter bubbling around it as shadows thickened, a mass of darkness approaching. "You can't escape." The ground rumbled again, and the Ferris wheel spun faster, each creak like a darkened choir urging them to join the horrifying game that had been set before them. "What do we do?" Jasmine cried, her voice laced with panic. "There's got to be a way to stop this." Alex shouted over the rising noise. "In the funhouse." Tyler pointed, his voice charged with a mix of terror and urgency. "We have to find a way inside. Maybe there's a clue or something that can help us." But as they rushed toward the looming structure, the shadows surged with them, weaving in and out of sight, their laughter a cacophony that screamed of madness. Could they face the terrible truth lurking within? Or would their curiosity seal their fate in the dark depths of the park? As they raced forward, the air thickened, tension electrifying the night. What waited for them inside the funhouse? Would their night of terror unravel secrets, or would they be entwined forever in its gripping nightmare? The funhouse loomed ominously, its dilapidated facade swallowing the moonlight. Flickering flashes illuminated the fractured mirrors that lined the entrance, reflecting the anxious faces of the friends as they hesitated on the threshold. Tyler clenched his fists, swallowed hard, and took the first step inside. "Stick together," he urged, his voice filled with a mixture of fear and determination. They stumbled into the darkened interior, flashes of rusted metal and peeling paint sent a shiver down Megan's spine. The laughter lingered, swirling around them like a sinister fog. She could almost see it, like a shadow tucked just behind her. The air inside was thick and stale, pressing against their skin as they moved deeper. A distant echo of children's giggles drifted through the narrow hallways, twisting into an unsettling melody that clung to their bones. Megan shivered, glancing at her friends. "We have to find an exit or something to help us get out of here." "Look." Jasmine pointed, her voice a raw whisper. "The mirrors." They approached an enormous cracked mirror at the end of a narrow passage, its surface rippling like water disturbed by a pebble. What if there's a way through? They could be hiding something behind it. Tyler frowned, glancing over his shoulder. The shadows seemed to close in, creeping like icy fingers. Or it could just lead to another part of this nightmare. "Only one way to find out," Alex replied, sudden resolve in his tone. He reached forward and touched the cold glass. Instantly, it shimmered. The echo of their breaths mingled with what sounded like laughter, echoes of children that resonated deep within the mirrors. Then, the laughter shifted. Harsh, mocking, and vibrating with energy. Play with us," a chorus of whispers rose, sending a chill through each of them. "Back away," Megan yelled, panic gripping her throat. Without warning, the mirror shimmered violently, a whirlwind of distorted reflections swirling before them. Shadows pooled at their feet, tugging at their legs like desperate hands. Megan! Jasmine! Hold on! Tyler shouted, grabbing both girls and yanking them back just as the mirror exploded outward, shattering into 1,000 fragments. The shards rained down like deadly confetti, glittering ominously in the darkness. Amid the chaos, Alex stumbled backward, colliding with another mirror. It didn't break but warped around him, encasing him in a veil of darkness. Help! I can't, Tyler. Do something! Shouted Jasmine, her fear climbing to heights Megan had never witnessed. Tyler rushed towards Alex, but the shadows surged, revealing the twisted form of Phil. His hollow eyes gleamed with wicked delight as he stepped through the scattered shards, laughter erupting. You should join me. Join us forever. Get away from him. Jasmine screamed, but it felt futile. Phil raised a hand, and shadowy tendrils wrapped around Alex, tightening with a bone-crushing grip. Is this how your story ends? Phil taunted, his smile impossibly wide. Megan clenched her fists, heart pounding. She felt something shift within her, a spark igniting in the suffocating darkness. No. We won't let you take him. A surge of determination coursed through her. She flung a piece of broken glass at Phil, and as it pierced the shadows, an electric shock ripped through the air. The laughter faltered, stunned silence enveloping the funhouse. Instantly, the grip on Alex loosened. He stumbled free, but the dark tendrils recoiled, writhing in agony. What was that? He gasped, his face pale as he regained his footing. I don't know, but we have to keep fighting. Tyler shouted, urgency dousing his fear. The air shifted again, heavy with malevolence. Shadows pooled beneath their feet, whirling and swirling, blending into the very fabric of the funhouse. You think you found a way out? This is just the beginning, Phil hissed, fading into the warped reflections. The laughter erupted again, this time even louder, echoing with fury. Play with us forever, no. Megan shouted, grabbing Alex's arm. We need to find a way to break this cycle. But the shadows thickened, blocking their path, rolling like storm clouds ready to unleash chaos. Where do we go? Jasmine screamed, backing away, her eyes darting everywhere. Look for a way anyway. Tyler yelled, panic creeping into his voice. There must be a clue, we can't just stand here. Megan's heart raced. What clues did this nightmare conceal? And more importantly, would they manage to escape before the darkness claimed them forever? As they propelled deeper into the funhouse, a flicker of something, maybe hope, dawned at the edge of her mind. But the shadows wouldn't relinquish their grip without a fight. Could they decipher the twisted secrets of the past, or would they lose themselves in the funhouse, swallowed whole by the echoes of those long gone? The shadows writhed and twisted, drawing closer. Megan felt the weight of despair pressing against her chest. Each echo of laughter, once distant, now felt like a taunting whisper meant to suffocate their hope. We can't just give up. She shouted to her friends, her voice strengthened by desperation. Why is this happening? Jasmine's eyes scanned the dark corners, seeking reassurance but finding none. There has to be something we can do. Tyler swallowed the rising fear. We keep searching. Let us split up a bit but stay in sight. Megan's heart sank at the idea, but they had no choice. She nodded, keeping a watchful eye on Tyler and Jasmine as they fanned out. The ambience thickened, the air crackled with anticipation, as if the funhouse itself was alive, waiting for their next move. Each step deeper felt like stepping into an abyss. The mirrors warped around them, distorting their reflections in nightmarish ways. Megan shivered and turned away from her elongated image, her limbs trembling slightly. Look here. The excitement in Alex's voice pulled her from her thoughts. He motioned to an adjacent booth, a faded sign read Mystery Room. The logo, chipped and peeling, seemed to beckon them. Maybe there's a way through here. As they approached, a heavy, metallic scent filled the air. Tyler and Jasmine exchanged wary glances before stepping inside the dimly lit room. Shadows bounced off the mirrors lining the walls. Each reflection was a twisted caricature, warping their faces into something grotesque. "What's that?" Jasmine pointed to a small object on a ledge, almost obscured by dust. It glinted in the flickering light. Megan reached for it, and the moment she touched it, a jolt of energy surged through her. The tiny object was a key, rusted and ancient but undeniably a key. "This might be what we need." But the shadows twitched, as if agitated by their discovery. Suddenly, a chilling laughter filled the room, a sinister sound that sent chills spiraling down their spines. "No one escapes the funhouse." Megan turned, her hands pulling tighter around the key. "We have to go. Now." They rushed back into the main hall, but the path was no longer clear. Where there had been hallways, now stood stark walls of shadow. "What happened?" Alex cried, glancing nervously over his shoulder. "I don't know, but we can't let Phil catch us." Tyler's voice rose above the unsettling laughter echoing through the hall. They were cornered, shadows moving like serpents, ready to strike. Megan felt the key's weight in her pocket, a talisman of hope. Look for a door. Or any way out. Suddenly, the mirrors vibrated, a strange light shimmering across the surface. "Behind you!" Jasmine shouted as a figure began to emerge from the glass fill, his grin horrifyingly wide, stepping through the surface as if it were liquid. "Did you think you could break free? Your fate was sealed the moment you stepped inside." The tension thickened. Panic surged through Megan. There had to be a way out. Her eyes darted around, searching for anything that could help. Then she saw it, just at the edge of her vision, a glimmer, like hope sparking against the all-consuming darkness. "Over there." She pointed to a narrow beam of light spilling from a mirror. "We can get through." But as they moved toward it, Phil's laughter grew louder, more menacing. "You can't run. You're already part of the funhouse. Join us." The shadows roared, roaring with fury as they surged towards the friends. Terrified, Megan sprinted to the glowing mirror, her heart pounding like an angry drum in her chest. She felt the shadows close in, and, drawing on every ounce of courage, she shouted into the swell of darkness, "We will get out." As they approached the shimmering light, it sparked violently. The shadows shrieked and recoiled, thinning momentarily. Tyler grabbed Megan's arm, pulling her forward as Jasmine clenched Alex's hand. "Don't look back," Tyler commanded, throwing himself and the others against the glow. With a blinding flash, the mirror exploded outward, and they hurled themselves into the unknown. But as the noise ceased and silence enveloped them, where had they ended up? What lay on the other side of the light? Salvation or another twisted layer of the nightmare? The shadows lingered, still whispering from behind. This wasn't over yet. The blinding light faded, and suddenly they were tumbling onto a hard floor. Megan gasped, her palms scraping against something rough beneath her. Disoriented, she pushed herself up, squinting against the dim light surrounding them. "Where are we?" Alex murmured, his breath shaky. The air tasted stale, the scent of decay wafting around them. They were in a narrow corridor, completely different from the chaotic funhouse they'd just escaped. Crumbling walls lined with peeling paint leaned ominously. Fluorescent lights flickered overhead like tired stars in a dying sky. Jasmine squeezed her eyes shut for a moment, as if bracing herself against a wave of fear. "This feels wrong." Her voice was barely above a whisper. "What if it's worse here?" "Stay together," Tyler commanded, clutching Megan's arm tightly. His eyes darted down the corridor. Every creak of the floorboards echoed like a drum in the silence. "We need to find a way out." As they moved forward, shadows danced at the edges of their vision. The weight of the funhouse still clung to them, even in this new place. Megan could feel her heart pounding relentlessly, carrying echoes of Phil's haunting laughter. She gripped the key in her pocket, now feeling heavier. "Look!" Jasmine pointed to a door at the end of the hallway, its surface marked with strange symbols that twisted like whispered secrets. "Maybe we can go through there." The group quickened its pace, desperate for any semblance of escape. They reached the door and pushed against it. It swung open, revealing a room filled with mismatched objects bathed in an eerie glow. Broken toys, defunct carnival games, and faded photographs were strewn about haphazardly, as if the past had been abandoned here. "What is this place?" Alex breathed, stepping gingerly inside. He picked up a tarnished clown figurine, its smile grotesque and unsettling. "This looks like a graveyard for the funhouse." Megan felt a shiver crawl down her spine. "Those memories, they're all from before," she murmured. "What happened here?" Suddenly, the door behind them slammed shut, a resounding thud that made them all jump. Panic surged as they turned around, searching for any means of escape. "Phil!" Tyler shouted, his voice wavering. "We need to get out of here." The air grew colder, and shadows seemed to swell inside the room, creeping toward them demanding entrance, as if the very walls hungered for their fear. The laughter returned, echoing from the dark corners. Megan's instincts kicked in, she scanned the room searching for anything that could help. Then she spotted a small mirror sitting against the wall, its surface cloudy but still reflecting fragments of light. "Maybe we can use that." As she stepped toward it, the floor beneath her creaked menacingly. Each step felt like a countdown to a disaster. When she reached the mirror, a sudden chill brushed against her skin, and she caught a glimpse of movements behind her, a crowd of ghostly silhouettes pressed against the glass, their mouths moving in silent screams. "Get away from the mirror!" Jasmine cried out, but it was too late. The last thing Megan saw was their faces twisted in agony before the surface of the mirror rippled like water, pulling her in. "No!" Tyler lunged for her just as her hand touched the glass, but it was too late. The mirror swallowed her whole, and everyone else was left in suffocating silence. Their world shattered for a moment, and then they were back in the corridor, heart pounding louder than ever. Megan gasped for breath, finding herself alone in the darkness, surrounded by shadows. Had she been separated? "Megan?" Tyler called from a distance, his voice wavering. "Where are you?" She opened her mouth to answer, but no sound came. An icy dread paralyzed her limbs. She could hear faint whispers closing in. Compassion and panic mingled deep within her. Was she truly alone? Then, through the oppressive dark, a familiar laugh chimed, one that twisted her heart into knots. "Welcome back, Megan. It's time to play." She shuddered. This nightmare was far from over, and the stakes were even higher. What would Phil demand from her now? As shadows stretched and the laughter grew louder, Megan realized that she needed to make a choice: fight or surrender. But could she really face the horrors that lay ahead? With every ounce of courage she had left, she took a step forward into the darkness, determined to find her friends and confront whatever awaited her. And somewhere, tucked within the void, a secret whispered, hinting at a truth that could change everything. The dark swallowed her whole, a grip like ice tightening around Megan's chest. She turned, searching for any trace of light, anything familiar. Shadows lurked, shapes shifting, and whispers coiled around her, filling the space with dread. "Tyler? Jasmine?" Her voice broke, crackling in the suffocating silence. Nothing answered but the echo of her own heartbeat, booming in her ears. The laughter she had heard earlier faded, replaced by something far worse: the sound of footsteps, dragging closer, relentless and steady. "No. Please," she murmured, retreating into the suffocating void, but there was nowhere to flee. Suddenly, the shadows coalesced, and a figure emerged: not Phil, but a woman shrouded in darkness, her face obscured by a tangle of hair. The edges of her form flickered, as if desperation kept her tethered to this realm. "You shouldn't be here, Megan," the woman rasped, voice thin and strained. "You need to go back before it's too late." But before Megan could process the urgency, a flash of light cut through, illuminating the room around her. Broken mirrors lined the walls, reflecting multiple versions of herself, each version with a different expression: fear, anger, confusion, and something else. Resolve. Each mirror rippled with its own story, pulling at her senses. One reflected Jasmine, eyes wide and pleading. Another showed Alex, his face twisted in fear. Even Tyler appeared, looking frantically for her. "I need to help them," she shouted, trying to leap forward, but a force held her back. "Stay away from the mirrors," the mysterious woman cried. "They are portals to your past, Megan. Choose wisely." Megan's breath quickened, her mind racing. The laughter returned, echoing through the room like thunder. Phil was playing a game, tugging at the strings of their fates from just beyond the veil. "What are you trying to do? Why are you doing this to us?" she screamed, eyes darting from mirror to mirror, desperate for a way out. The shadows crept closer, and the woman lunged forward, grasping Megan's wrist. "Listen. You must confront what you fear most to escape. Only then can you break free from his grasp." Her grip was ice cold, but it grounded Megan, breaking through the haze of terror. Megan stared at the mirrors again. Which one would lead her to her friends? The one showing Jasmine's terrified eyes seemed stronger, pulling her in. "I'll save them," she said, her voice suddenly clear. The fear that clouded her vision melted away, replaced by clarity. She had to fight to reclaim her power, to confront Phil's terror. As she stepped toward Jasmine's mirror, the woman's grip tightened. "Be careful. The darkness will try to trap you. Remember, what lies within is only as strong as you believe it to be," she warned, her voice wavering with urgency. Megan nodded, heart racing. "I want to let it win." Taking a deep breath, she plunged into the mirror, feeling it envelop her in chilling darkness. Then, everything shattered. She was hurtling through a kaleidoscope of images: carnival rides, cheerful clowns, and frail remnants of joy. Each flash made her stomach churn. Where was Jasmine? Just as quickly as it began, the scenes changed. She landed on a deserted midway, the laughter fading into a haunting wind. The vibrant colors faded to gray, and a sense of dread filled the air. "Megan?" A voice called out, but it wasn't Jasmine. It was Tyler, his tone low, fearful. "Are you here?" She could feel his urgency, and with determination ignited within her, she rushed toward the sound. But just a few feet ahead, shadows swirled with predatory intent. The chilling laughter echoed once more, wrapping around her like a noose. "Tyler!" she screamed as the figure in the shadows emerged, a sinister grin stretching across Phil's face. "You've come to play again, haven't you?" Megan's heart stumbled. Would they both be trapped here forever? She tightened her fists, ready to fight against whatever he planned, but what was his true game, and could she outsmart him this time? As darkness surrounded her, one question hung heavy in the air: would confronting her fears be enough to reclaim their fates, or had they all secretly lost long ago? "Megan!" The call came again, urgent, tinged with fear. Tyler's voice anchored her, pulling her from the chaos swirling around her. She had to reach him. She pushed through the haze, the shadows clawing at her ankles. Each step felt like wading through mud, the darkness resisting her every move. "Tyler!" she begged again, straining to hear him over the cacophony of sinister laughter. It echoed, rising and falling like a monstrous tide. Just ahead, the shadows twisted, a figure forming from the mist. "Megan!" The shape was clearer now. Tyler stood there, his face ashen, eyes glistening with dread. He looked as if he'd fought through a storm, and now he was here, standing at the edge of horror with her. "We have to go. We have to get out of here." She rushed forward, her heart racing. But just as she reached him, the laughter intensified, a shrill symphony of derision, filling the air with malice. The shadows around them pulsated, shimmering like static, and with it came the figure of Phil, eyes bright with malevolence. "Did you really think you could escape?" Phil taunted, stepping closer, his grin wide and predatory. "This place feeds on your fear, on every moment of despair." "Shut up!" Megan shouted, shielding Tyler with her body as she felt her own resolve solidify. Fear could be a weapon, but so could courage. "We're not afraid of you." "Oh, but you should be. Every laugh you hear, every shadow that dances, it's all part of the game." He gestured dramatically, and with his movement, shadows writhed and twisted, forming nightmarish shapes that encircled them. "And the moment you falter, the darkness wins." Megan's breath came in ragged gasps. Images of Jasmine, Alex, and everyone they had lost flared in her mind like a beacon. She had to outwit Phil, to see beyond the horror he wove around them. "Look at the mirrors, Tyler," she shouted, pulling him close to her. "We need to confront what we fear, it's the only way." "Mirrors?" Tyler's confusion hung thick in the air, but she dragged him toward the nearest reflective surface. The mirror shimmered, its glass alive with swirling shadows. "This is your life, Tyler. Our past, it's here. We've been running from it." Before he could respond, the shadows surged forward, eager to engulf them. Phil's laughter echoed, cruel and mocking. "They'll never let you go. You're trapped in your own fears." Megan released Tyler's hand for just a moment, bravely stepping closer to the mirror. The surface rippled like disturbed water, and she could see flashes of their history, moments of joy turned quickly to despair. She touched the glass, and suddenly, images began to coalesce, their shared laughter at summer camp, the terror of lost friendships, and beneath it all, the regret of darkest secrets left buried. "Face it!" she cried, her voice rising. "Face the truth that we hid from." With determination now sparking within her, she felt an unseen force pushing against her. She could sense the darkness trying to choke her resolve. "Tyler. We need to step in together. Whatever emerges, we can handle it." He hesitated, his eyes darting between the mirror and the looming shadows. She reached out, grabbing his hand once more. The connection sparked something between them, an electric current surging through her veins. "Let us show him," Tyler finally shouted, and they plunged into the mirror together, feeling the chilling tendrils of darkness claw at them. Water-like sensations enveloped them, swirling, showing a new set of memories. But this time, they stood together, braced for whatever awaited them. The laughter faded, replaced by a chilling whisper. "Welcome back, Megan, Tyler. The game has only just begun." As a new swirl of shadows closed in, Megan clenched her fists, ready to confront whatever lay ahead. She had come this far, she wasn't turning back now. But as they plunged deeper into the memories, the question loomed large: what bizarre horrors awaited them within not just Phil's game, but truths they were meant to face? Time was slipping away, and with every heartbeat, the dark grew hungrier. The world around them morphed and transformed, like a kaleidoscope of forgotten memories, swirling in a chaotic tapestry. They stood at the edge of a dilapidated funhouse, its bright colors faded and peeling, the once cheery artwork distorted into sinister grins. Megan clutched Tyler's hand tightly, their fingers intertwined, a lifeline against the looming dread. "What is this place?" Tyler's voice trembled, a barely audible whisper amid the oppressive silence. This is where it all began," Megan breathed, her heart pounding. "This is our childhood amusement park. But something's wrong." "It's different," he finished, eyes scanning the twisted structure, the laughter of children now transformed into eerie echoes, scraping against their sanity. "What are we supposed to face here?" Before she could respond, from the corner of her eye, she caught a glimpse of movement. Shadows flitted toward them, grotesque silhouettes mocking their every breath. A laughter rang out, a familiar laugh. It was devastatingly sweet yet laced with malice. "Megan. Tyler. No, it can't be," Megan gasped, as a familiar figure materialized within the shadows. It was Jasmine, her childhood friend, but her eyes flickered with something other than joy. They were hollow, like abandoned wells filled with an inky darkness. "They want you to remember," Jasmine's voice echoed, distorted yet hauntingly beautiful. "This is where all your fears stemmed from." "Stop. Get away from her," Tyler shouted, but the shadow surrounded them. "Why do you fear me?" Jasmine whispered, her voice a soft caress tainted with menace. "I was the light in your darkness, right?" Megan felt herself spiraling into guilt. Memories surged, the laughter, the games, Jasmine's unwavering support. But then it turned. Shocking betrayal lurked beneath the surface, buried secrets she had refused to confront. "None of this is real," she shouted, but inside, uncertainty gnawed at her soul. Phil's mocking laughter erupted, reverberating off the walls of the twisted funhouse. "Welcome to your past, my dear. Those ghosts you thought you'd buried will come clawing back for more." The shadows pressed closer, a tidal wave crashing in, threatening to engulf them all. "It's not just Phil we have to face," Megan realized, her voice shaking. "It's our own regrets. We have to own them, Tyler. Or they'll consume us." "Then how?" Tyler's face twisted with desperation. "What do we do?" Megan's eyes fell upon the funhouse mirror, reflecting their terrified expressions. "We step through. We confront everything. Only then can we break free." As the laughter intensified, the shadows warped and twisted, creating gaping mouths that screamed in agony. Megan felt Tyler's grip tighten in fear. "Together," she said, desperate for strength as their resolve shimmered before them like a candle flickering in the dark. "We face this together." In the throes of terror, they rushed toward the mirror, its reflective surface now pulsating with energy. With the shadows nipping at their heels, they dove in, bracing themselves for the tidal wave of chaos awaiting them. Suddenly, they were plunged into a chaotic whirlwind of memories, the laughter, the fights, the heartaches. Each flash brought clarity but also despair. The weight of truth bore down on them, pressing like heavy stones. "Remember our promises, Megan. You swore you'd never forget me." Jasmine's voice echoed around them, mingling with the memories. "Stop!" Megan cried out, drowning in guilt as images of unspoken words surged through her mind. "I tried to be there. I didn't want to let you down." The shadows writhed with the pain of their shared past, constricting around them as the air thickened with tension. It felt like they were suffocating beneath the weight of their history while Jasmine's laughter twisted into a cacophony of agony. As the memories continued to unravel, Megan felt a flicker of defiance stirring within her. They'd fight back. She wouldn't let their past dictate their future, even if it meant facing the truths she had long avoided. "Let us show them the light," she yelled, determination piercing through the enveloping shadows. "We can make this right." But as they prepared to fight, the darkness surged, threatening to consume them whole. Just as hope ignited within her, a voice rang out amid the turmoil, a voice that chilled her to the core. "Welcome back to the real game. It's autumn now, and the hunt begins anew." A shiver ran down Megan's spine. What did that mean? What new horrors were about to be unleashed? The walls of the funhouse loomed closer, ready to swallow them whole, and a haunting question lingered in the heavy air: would they emerge from the darkness together, or would Phil's sinister plan claim them forever? The air buzzed with tension as Megan and Tyler emerged from the chaos of memories, breathless, hearts pounding. They stood at the threshold of the darkness yet again, shadows swirling around them like a storm of despair. "We can't let him control us," Megan gasped, clinging to Tyler's hand. "We need to find Jasmine. We need to end this." A golden glimmer caught their eye, a reflection in a nearby cracked mirror, pulsating like a heartbeat. Hope surged within Megan as she pulled Tyler closer. "That has to be it. It's the key to reaching Jasmine." But before they could advance toward the glow, the ominous laughter of Phil echoed through the air, chilling their bones. "You think you can save your friend? You've only just begun to understand the game." As the shadows twisted, forming grotesque faces, dread pooled in their chests. "Look out!" Tyler shouted, shoving Megan to the side just as a dark tendril lunged at them. "We have to act fast. It's trying to separate us." They sprinted toward the glowing mirror, but the shadows roared in protest, clawing at their legs, coiling around them, trying to drag them into the abyss. "We can't let them win," Megan urged, adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Remember what we talked about. We need to confront this together." With a fierce determination surging through her, Megan charged forward, wrenching her hand free from the Shadow's grasp. "I'm here, Tyler. I want to let you go." She dove into the shimmering portal, pulling Tyler with her. The familiar thrill of falling punctuated the chaos, then their surroundings exploded into a kaleidoscope of memories and color. They landed hard on a sunlit playground, the laughter of children echoing all around. "Megan! Tyler!" Jasmine's voice called out from somewhere, and hope ignited anew. "We're coming!" They shouted back, their voices merging in the joyful haze. The darkness that entangled them began to fade, the light cutting through like a knife. "Over here!" Jasmine appeared in a flurry of bright light, everyone's eyes wide with recognition. "I've been waiting for you. You have to face Phil together. He can't hold us if we stand united." The atmosphere shifted. With every whispered word from Jasmine, shadows withdrew, flickering hesitantly, as if both terrified and uncertain. Every shadow carried a weight of memories, the regrets they had buried, the fears they had feared confronting. "This is it. Together," Megan urged. As one, they stepped closer to the edge of the darkened space, the boundary of the funhouse threatening to pull them back. The three friends clasped hands, forming an unbreakable circle of solidarity. "Phil!" Megan shouted, her voice fierce. "We reject your game. These shadows don't control us. We choose to face our fears, to remember everything we've lost and learn from it." The air crackled with energy, swirling shadows retreating against the onslaught of their united front. "No! You cannot escape!" Phil howled, his voice a ripple of rage echoing through the recesses of the funhouse. But the more they stood firm, the more the shadows fought to pull themselves back. It felt like breaking glass, like releasing an inner cage. With one final surge, the three friends leaped forward. They plunged into the shadowy depths, the laughter morphing into echoes of something more profound: resolution, hope, and strength. The light flared around them, a starburst, brighter than before as they faced Phil for the last time. The moment hung in the air, electric and charged. "This was never about fear," Megan yelled, her voice breaking through the chaos. "You can't trap us in the past, Phil. We've moved on." At that moment, the shadows roared, merging into one dark mass, but as it approached, Tyler, Megan, and Jasmine shouted together, drowning it in their combined voices. "No more!" With that, the darkness exploded into countless shards, dissipating like a storm breaking over the horizon. Silence returned, and the oppressive weight that had pressed on their hearts dissipated like fog. It felt as if a great burden had been lifted. No longer did the whispers surround them, they were gone, seemingly exiled from this twisted realm. As they stood hand in hand, a warm light enveloped them, transforming the remnants of the funhouse into something beautiful, a vibrant reminder of the joy they once shared. Megan felt the corners of her mouth lift as the remnants of laughter floated through the air, replacing the terrible sounds from before. They had conquered the darkness together. "Is it really over?" Jasmine asked, her eyes wide in wonder. "For us," Tyler said, a solemn smile gracing his lips. "But we need to remember always." Then, with one final burst of energy, the vibrant world around them transformed, casting them from the terrifying amusement park back into the core of the night where dawn peaked at the edge. The park stood abandoned behind them, its haunted glow fading into the distance. Megan looked at her friends, faces bright with relief and triumph. They had faced an unspeakable darkness and emerged stronger, united by the experience. "We did it," she said slowly, absorbing the moment. Let us make a promise we'll never forget each other again. And with that, they bound themselves in friendship, breathing in the golden morning light. Let us go home, Tyler said, placing his arm around Jasmine and Megan as they strode away from the park, leaving behind the memories of shadows and darkness. As they walked, a newfound sense of kinship wrapped around them like a warm blanket, echoing with laughter, light, and the certainty that their friendship would carry them wherever they went, through every darkness that might come. So remember, if you ever find yourself faced with shadows, even in the most hidden of places, don't falter. Stand together. Fight back. And now, before you go, it's time to take action. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Your support means everything. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this epic ending. We want to hear from you. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. This is the moment to show your support for the channel. Don't miss out.